Okay, I'm at the last minute of stirring my resin. When you stir, make sure you scrape the sides of the cup and the bottom. And I have bubbles in this, so I stirred it too fast. But I'm doing a pretty thin layer here, so I'll use my torch to knock the bubbles out of my piece. But I just stirred too fast. You're just supposed to do a slow motion. And then you could also let this sit for 5 minutes and let the bubbles come up to the top. But because I'm just doing a thin layer on this piece, I can make this work for me. But you shouldn't do what I'm doing. Alexa, stop. Okay. Yeah, just don't stir it too fast, because I usually don't have that many bubbles in it. But let's get back to this. Alrighty, so I'm going to use my popsicle stick, and I'm going to start drizzling where my crushed shell is. And we're just going to get around there. And watch, when your pieces are close like that, it will tend to go over. So let me grab a baby wipe so that I can get this. I don't want this on my frame. Oop, push too hard. Okay, just like so. Get that off. Okay. And actually, I'm going to lift this. And see, now there's a little blank space, but that doesn't matter because that shell is going over it. And you also want to make sure you get along the ends as close as possible. Now I'm going to put you back on there. And then we're just going to add a little dab of resin around that pearl. And I think I'm going to lift this one as well. And I'm going to get close to that angel because you want it to adhere. And we're just going to go along the edge. And you can see I'm dribbling. These are thinner, depth-wise frames that I'm really not a fan of. But it's fine if you don't have a bunch of shells on it. Let me clean that up. We definitely want to clean that up. Okay. Now I'm just going to go all around, get close to the edge. And then I'm going to put this shell back on, just like so. And let me grab a toothpick. I'm going to push this in. There we go. Now, once this piece dries, and if I see, I'm going to cover this shell. If I see an open spot where I probably needed another piece of the crushed glass, I can add that tomorrow using UV resin. Sometimes it happens. You see a spot where, ooh. Let me wipe this. And there. There's days where I can get this going with no problem and days where it's just dribbling all over the place. So let's get along the edge. Let's cover this shell. Get around that angel. Cover up my starfish. Now these kind of starfish you can put in resin. There are starfish and sand dollars that you cannot cover with your resin because it'll change color. So you can do one of two things when you're using those. You can just put it on the top like I did the shell. You lay the resin down and then just put your starfish or sand dollar on top of the resin, or you can spray it to seal it. Then you can put it in your resin. Okay. I'm just gonna go. I want to make sure, and there I need to get, I'm going to turn this, which I hate to do, but I'm going to turn it because I want to get underneath this angel. I just want to get the resin underneath. Now, if I didn't have a glass all over it, I could use my heat gun and blow it underneath. But I can't do that or my glass will go over. And then I'd have to rearrange everything all over again. So I just want to make sure. Or another thing you can do is lay your resin down first, a nice thin layer. Then, you know, your shells, do a layer of resin, then lay your ornament on top. You can also do it that way. And just gonna make sure everything's covered good. And I'm gonna move a couple of things that have moved. And yes, I've already used an ounce and that looks good enough. All right, I'm gonna check underneath her. She looks good. The resin is self-leveling. So let me see, I hate turning these, but I'm gonna do it, and it's tape sticking to my, there we go. My tape sticking there. If I wasn't doing this video, I'd be walking around my table. I have room to walk around my table. All right, so let's move him back out. And then this is where you can, you know, move the glass because it does move a little. So we're just going to move it up a little. And I think this looks good. Just double checking. And then I see some drops here on the side of my frame. So I'm gonna get that real close, clean that up. Now, after it sits overnight, if you see anything that needs cleaned up, do it first thing, because it's still kind of, it's not cured completely, because it actually takes 72 hours for a complete cure. All right, now I'm going to take my torch to it. If you wanted to add more glass to it, this would be, you could do that right now as well. I can't remember what the working time is with this. I think it's 30 or 40 minutes. I can't remember, because I use a couple resins. I don't know. I think I need just a couple more pieces on the top. Not a lot. So I'm just going to add a couple more pieces up here. One there. One there. One up here. And I got one more in my hand, so I might as well use it. Let's put it up there. Okay. Now I'm going to take my torch. And I'm just going to quickly go over it. And don't go over too much, because you don't want to burn your resin. So I'm going to let this sit, and I'm going to check every 10 minutes for about an hour to make sure I don't have any bubbles. So now that I got that done, let me put this aside for you, and let's make some of these molds. I'm just going to put her aside. And what I'll do is I'll end up taking a cover and covering her up so she doesn't get any dirt or dust. All right, so I actually do, it's all you needed was an ounce. I could have done an ounce and didn't have to do any extra. But I'm going to just do one more double check before I add my colorant to this. I want to make sure that looks good. That looks pretty good. I just want to make sure everything is good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, now the pigments I use for most of my projects, 99% of them is, I use Color Passion. I use, today we're going to use the turquoise gel tint, but I also use their paste. This is one of my favorite colors, Michelle Shimmer. That goes in mostly all my pieces. But if you're looking for something to use, check out Color Passion. Okay, so I'm just going to add a drop of this Color Passion. And I definitely want it darker, but I want to mix in. You want to get all that gel mixed up good. So these turtles I make for my turtle pocket hugs. They are definitely one of my big sellers. And I am out of them. And then I'm just going to add just another dab, because I want it a little bit darker. Sometimes I add some mica powders in this to give it a little glitz. Sometimes I just make it to look transparent. And the gel definitely can give you more transparency in my eyes when I use it. I like the gels for more transparency. So that looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks good. Again, except for the dang bubbles. Okay, next video, we're not going to have bubbles in ours. Okay, so I have these little turtle molds. So what I'm going to do, I have 4 of them. And like this is one of them that I've done. And I make my cards, and then I put them, let me move this aside. I make my cards and put them in a package, and they're great for gift giving. All right, now I need my glasses again because I get heavy pour sometimes doing these small things. So let me get my glasses on and let's pour. Okay. If you've never poured a mold, I know the head is deeper, so I try to get in there. And we get this one. Whoop. And then I'm just gonna tap it down, help release the bubbles. And we got that one done. And let's do another one. I like to get the head first because it's deep in the head. A little bit more in the finnies. Yeah, sometimes I just go a little bit too much on this. I'll tap that down. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, I need to just give it a little push so I don't overfill. And that one's done. Put that aside. And my last one, I think I'm still going to have some resin left over. But next time when I do this size frame, I'm not going to do, I'm just going to do 1 ounce. And let's push this in like so. Maybe just a little bit more. Looks like we need some right there. Okay. So we got the 4 little turtles all done. And then, as you can see, I still have some left. So I also have, this is a heart mold. I also make heart pocket molds. So I ran out of, I used what resin was left on this. So we're just going to layer this on top of that. Just like so. And it'll give it a double effect. Now there's a little bit left in this one. So I'm just going to pour that. In here. Just like so, and that almost fills it up. Let's get this out. And that pretty much fills it up. So I got 4 turtles and the 2 hearts out of that extra 1 ounce. There we go. And there you go. So if you mix up extra, or you know you need extra, like I knew I needed the turtles, yes, I did want to mix up extra. So there you go, guys. Just to show you when you have too much resin, what you can make here. And I'm going to move this aside over here. And I'm going to put this right here for you to see one last time. Again, I will cover this, and I'll end up doing a photo once it's done, but I'll show you how you peel off the back tomorrow. So thank you guys for watching. Please, if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. I would appreciate that very much. And you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.